hello, you know, I mean, I'm like, what man doesn't understand what I'm saying? And that's where we get into a bigger, broader subject about what pissed me off about how pathetic this industry can be at times. Don't act like you don't agree with me. Don't act like you don't see, meaning you don't see what I'm saying. Don't act like I'm out of left field as a man.
So I assume that Mayweather was in a similar spot because he made so much cash, and if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it.
Stephen A. Smith criticizes Floyd Mayweather for careless spending as he reacts to a Business Insider article that revealed Floyd's financial issues. Smith says that Floyd should have managed his money more carefully and made smart investments instead of wasting the huge amount he earned.
And make sure you develop your own lobbyist, right? And it's an abundance of y'all. And y'all have the capital to influence government. But you're not thinking like that because it involves real work. And it involves a real conscientious thought. RC might have that, I might have that.
Stephen A. Smith also shared an old video where he is seen visiting Floyd Mayweather during his prime. In the clip, Floyd proudly shows off millions worth of luxury cars, expensive watches, and lavish items inside his extremely extravagant home.
This is a beautiful house, my man. How many square feet is this?
A little bit over 20,000 square feet, 3 or 4 levels.
Money Mayweather, seems appropriate that you would be living in Vegas.
My mentality is always about, you know, working smarter, not harder.
I see that picture. Who is that?
And that's where it all started from.
That's you?
That's me. This picture is old school. I got the old school gloves on. And this is made of carpet, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in a boxing ring in Grand Rapids, Michigan at Tawasi Boxing Club. That's where it all started from.
But you knew instantly you wanted to be a fighter.
That's all I knew. My whole life. That's all I knew.
What's your definition of toy?
Well, private jet, Enzo.
Ari Spears criticized reckless spending habits, mentioning Mike Tyson as an example, and pointed out how poor financial choices can impact even the most successful athletes.
The house I was hanging out at was one of like the OG jewelers. Like these are one of the jewelers that supplies like all the other jewelers, right? And he told me that Mayweather is broke.
I keep hearing this.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true.
I don't think so.
But he said that based on his spending and so forth, this is why these fights are happening now. That he needs to make some money back. That the spending has outpaced the money that, the money
he's been retired.
Right.
And he's still, flying to Monaco with a bad bitch, buying up half the store.
Right. Always flying private.
Yeah.
Does he have his own plane?
Yeah, he does.
He does, right. So that's massively expensive. Even if you own it, the upkeep is huge. Right. Plus all the properties, all the property tax. Yeah, I mean, if you're not properly invested, because there was he was saying that he bought this building in the Diamond District, but people are saying that's, the same jeweler said that's actually not true.
Right.
So there's been a lot of stuff like that. Listen, I hope not, man, but I remember I interviewed Tyson. He lost like $300 million.
Grant Cardone is a business expert who criticized Floyd Mayweather Jr., saying that bad investments and careless spending decisions stopped him from achieving long-term financial stability and growth.
Floyd Mayweather's got 22 million people following him, but is it any good? Like I don't know what it does with him. Like, does it do business with him? Does it transact with him? I know guys with big followings. But there's nothing happens as a result of the following.
So you on the is Floyd rich or is Floyd broke? Which side?
I don't know. I think Floyd ends up broke.
Ends up broke.
If he doesn't, it's not a Floyd thing. It's not a Floyd thing. It's an asset thing. If you don't end up in assets, you end up broke.
Yeah.
So because you can't keep fighting forever.
So if Floyd was watching right now, what would you say to him?
Floyd, you need to spend as much time working on your investments as you do in Neiman Marcus or the Gucci store, the Fendi store.
He could just invest with you, though, right?
He could invest to Cardone Capital. You know, I mean, I would ensure that he's a billionaire.
Wow.
Like you cannot become a billionaire without.
DJ Academics reacts to a report by Business Insider that exposed Floyd Mayweather Jr., alleging unpaid Mercedes debts and several other financial obligations he reportedly did not settle.
Financially set. I want to let everybody know this. He said in 2021, every property I have is paid for. My jet, paid for. All my cars is paid for. I own $1 billion buildings. Everything is no longer paid for. They're exposing him if you don't know. Mayweather took out millions of dollars in mortgages on his homes last year. A Business Insider review shows he also faced a string of lawsuits and liens that say he owes money for a Mercedes Maybach G-Wagon. Wait, they make Maybach G-Wagons? What the jet fuel, which obviously is for his jet, and garbage collection at his Las Vegas mansion. So it looks like they've pulled all his debt. At the same time, he's trumpeted a major entry into the big league. Commercialized real estate. Starting in the fall of 2024, Mayweather talked about spending blitz on commercial property in New York through his newly formed real estate firm.
Wade Plemons says Floyd Mayweather Jr. earned a huge amount of money during his career, but using it more wisely and making smarter financial choices could have ensured his long-term stability.
Because he owed so much money to them and had apparently not much of it in liquidity, not much that he could actually spend, or at least that's what his representative said. His representatives wrote back to the IRS, it's a true story, you guys can look it up, that he could not make the payment. He couldn't do it. He didn't have $22 million liquid in cash. For a guy that had made, up until that point, let's just say $900 million, because he made $300 million fighting Conor, he didn't have $22 million sitting around in a bank for all that cash he's flexing, for all those cars, for all the places. And again, I'm not saying that multi-millionaires and billionaires have $1 billion liquid, but you couldn't have found 22 mil. So his representative said, wait, we're going to have this fight and then he'll pay you after the fight.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. often presents himself as the very best in boxing, claiming that no other fighter matches his skill or achievements. While confidence is important in sports, his constant self-promotion often annoys fellow fighters, fans, and analysts. This kind of behavior is common among top athletes, trying to stay dominant and relevant, but in his case, it is often seen as arrogance. Critics say that his regular boasting sometimes takes attention away from his real accomplishments, making it seem like he cares more about his image than his legacy. Even so, his success in the ring cannot be denied, with many wins and championship titles to his name. Still, his public image, marked by showing off wealth and superiority, means that admiration for him is often mixed with doubt and criticism from the boxing world and the wider audience.
Separated now. You know, I don't think there's no boxer in history that has accomplished what I've accomplished. Not bragging or boasting, just speaking the truth. I take my hat off to a lot of legendary champions, you know, that paved the way for me to be where I'm at in the sport of boxing. But that was their era, and this is my era. I had a tremendous career. And we got young fighters that's on the rise, that's under our banner. The ultimate goal is to find the next Floyd Mayweather that can break my records.
So is Gervonta Davis that?
Chael Sonnen explains that Floyd Mayweather Jr., like many top fighters, faces the challenge of keeping his wealth after retirement. While his career brought huge fame and money, Sonnen points out that public attention slowly fades, and an athlete's prime years do not last long. Many fighters who spend their whole lives focused on the sport often feel unprepared when life outside the ring begins. Without proper planning, smart investments, or other career options, even very successful athletes can face financial problems once their competitive days are over. Sonnen adds that boxing, although very profitable at its peak, does not guarantee long-term financial security if money is not handled carefully. Mayweather's situation reflects this wider trend, showing that fame and talent alone cannot ensure lasting wealth without smart planning, discipline, and long-term thinking.
Boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face, the numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time, is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company, who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view. It is illegal for them to lie. You have never heard Time Warner. You've never heard Cox. You've never heard DirecTV. You have never heard...
Dan Le Batard talks about the continuing financial issues of Floyd Mayweather Jr. As of February 2026, Mayweather has filed a huge $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinosa to recover money and stabilize his finances. Over his career, it's estimated that Mayweather earned more than $1.2 billion just from fight earnings, an enormous amount by any measure. Le Batard points out an important fact. While his earnings were massive, so was his spending.
Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinosa. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career in just earnings from fights.
Yeah, I think a question though that you should also ask is, outside of like how much has he made, is how much has he spent? You know, because I would say he's fully capable of spending close to $1 billion in the last 25 years.
You say that, but I not to turn into the movie Brewster's Millions from the 1980s. It's hard to spend that money. It really is hard to spend that much money and end up in a situation where you have to fight at 49 because you're so used to a lifestyle that brings in giant amounts of money that the only way for you to make a giant amount of money is to do what he's presently doing.
He is believed to have spent nearly $1 billion over the past 25 years on a lavish lifestyle, including luxury cars, jewelry, designer clothes, and high-end experiences. Such spending makes it hard for even someone with his earnings to maintain long-term wealth. Le Batard compares this to the movie Brewster's Millions, showing that even with huge income, overspending can push someone to take unexpected steps, like returning to the ring at age 49 just to make money. He also points out that much of Mayweather's wealth came from public interest, fans watching to see if he could lose, highlighting the role of celebrity culture and spectacle in boxing.
Is something that somehow will make money because people will still want to watch if Floyd Mayweather can lose, because that's where he made his $1.2 billion. He made it in us watching to see if he'd lose.
I don't even think, like, it's just celebrity boxing is so popular because we are obsessed with celebrity culture, and this is the rare reality show in which we can see people fight, you know? Like, oh, wouldn't it be all—
DJ Academics reports that Floyd Mayweather Jr. claimed to own a $42 million portfolio of rent-regulated buildings in Manhattan, but property records show no clear ownership. Over the past 18 months, 2 of his commercial properties were foreclosed, and he risked losing his Las Vegas business, the Girl Collection, due to over $52,000 in unpaid taxes. Mayweather has also faced lawsuits over unpaid luxury items, including watches and high-end jewelry. Creditors pursued him for his Gulfstream jet, Air Mayweather, which he sold in December along with Beverly Hills mansions. Experts warned that without proper professional guidance, even Mayweather's wealth can face serious risks.
Real estate conference with a session titled Real Estate Knockout, the Floyd Mayweather Strategy. Give me 1 second. The Floyd Mayweather Strategy. The big talk doesn't always end in big deals, though. Business Insider found. Chat, they're exposing him. Mayweather's social media last year promoted an article that he reported that he made $100 million in his portfolio of a Manhattan luxury high-rise apartment towers owned by the Go Partners. People with knowledge of this investment said Mayweather put a nominal sum late last year and did not invest further, and his initial equity in the deal was later absorbed by the Go Partners, leaving him with no stake. The portfolio of the buildings was eventually spun off into a publicly traded entity. In February, Mayweather also said he bought a portfolio in a rent-regulated apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan for $402 million, declaring that all the buildings belong to me. I don't got no partners. Business Insider previously reported that there were no property records showing an outright or majority sale.
DJ Vlad shares a revealing look at Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s financial habits, noting that a well-known jeweler suggested Mayweather might be struggling because of years of extravagant spending. During his prime, Mayweather famously showed off his wealth with luxury cars, high-end watches, and other lavish items, creating an image of immense riches. Yet DJ Vlad points out reports of unpaid debts to jewelers and other vendors, indicating that not all of Mayweather's flashy displays were fully supported by actual cash.
I would think that your investments would continue to grow,
right?
As long as you keep your spending under wraps. Like right now, like I could retire right now. This could be my last interview ever,
right?
And with my investments, you know, I invested into a lot of great companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla over the years, and those companies have all grown and continue to grow, right? And I could actually borrow money against my stock portfolio without even selling.
This gap between appearance and reality highlights an important lesson in money management. Things aren't always what they seem, even for someone seen as the richest boxer. DJ Vlad stresses that Mayweather's situation serves as a warning for athletes and celebrities who focus more on luxury and status than careful financial planning. Even huge earnings can be wasted through poor money management. Looking at Mayweather's extravagant lifestyle, alongside reports of unpaid debts, shows the challenges top athletes face in keeping long-term wealth and the risks of putting flashy displays above smart financial strategies.
Told me that Mayweather is in financial problems.
See, here's the part about actually losing your money when you're on that level and you're, kind of like flossing, showing off. Nobody gives a shit. Like there's people actually praying for you to be broke. And then when you do go broke, that's what people are gonna say. Yeah. Oh, well, you should have invested better. Nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna give him any loans. So now, we might see Mayweather doing.
People will give him some loans.
Maybe.
Listen, he's cozying up to Israel. That's
but
not
the thing
accident.
about it is, he had Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And he was hosting a big, he had Gervonta Davis under his cars. And so that's
yeah, but look what happened to Gervonta.
Right.
Arrested.
So if you can sustain that, you don't ever have to box again. But now has to take fights because when you floss like Mayweather, you can't go down.
Yeah,
you got to stay right there because people are gonna beat any kind of chinks in your armor if you're not wearing 3 or 4 big $1 million diamond chains.
Among the many legal issues Floyd Mayweather Jr. has faced, one surprising case involved unpaid bills for luxury jewelry. A Miami-based jeweler claimed that Mayweather received expensive pieces but didn't pay as agreed. This lawsuit shows a side of Mayweather that contrasts with his public image of immense wealth and luxury. While fans and media often focus on his flashy cars, designer watches, and lavish lifestyle, cases like this reveal possible problems with money management and accountability. Legal disputes over unpaid luxury items remind us that even people with huge earnings can struggle to stay financially disciplined. The case drew attention because it involved high-end jewelry, an area where Mayweather's image of opulence is well known. Beyond the courtroom, it raised concerns about long-term planning and responsible spending, showing the risks of prioritizing image over smart financial decisions.
So, a Miami jeweler that goes by the name of Leonard Suleymanov is like, give me my money. Give me my money. So he is hitting Floyd Mayweather with a huge lawsuit. Y'all, we're talking about a cool $4 million for some luxurious watches and diamonds that Floyd supposedly forgot to pay for. Y'all know he forget to cash checks. So maybe, you know what I'm saying? He might have forgot to pay for it for real. So even, y'all tell me if I'm saying.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. famously reinvented his image early in his career by changing his nickname from Pretty Boy Floyd to Floyd Money Mayweather. This new name reflected not only his confidence in his skills, but also his strong belief that he was destined to become a billionaire. The nickname symbolized a life of luxury, success, and financial power. He fully embraced it, showing off wealth through expensive cars, designer clothes, and lavish possessions. Fans and critics often saw him as the ultimate symbol of opulence in sports, a figure who flaunted his achievements and sparked envy. Over time, his extravagance became a key part of his public image, drawing admiration, jealousy, and criticism all at once.
This is Money Mayweather, not Pretty Boy Floyd. You see, in boxing, usually people have like an alter ego, the character they play. He had to change his character from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money because Pretty Boy Floyd had a problem. You need to listen. Now, the problem was he was tiny, but more than that, his hands were tiny. Now, I don't know much about JB, but I know he ain't big. And them boy got the same frame. That's twinning him. Now, let me be more specific. It wasn't his hands so much that were tiny, it's that they were brittle. It's believed to be genetic because his dad broke his hand and his uncle broke his hand. Yeah, they were all boxers and them boys could throw hands. But that does not mean he had it easy. You see, his dad sold a bunch of stuff and his mom did a bunch of stuff. So to escape his traumatic childhood, all he would do is train day in and day out. He said, I had to take care of my mom. But he trained so much because it's all he knew that his hands stuttered.
However, recent reports about Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s financial struggles have changed how the public sees him. Watching someone who once seemed untouchable now face challenges gives some people a sense of satisfaction. His earlier shows of wealth had caused envy and resentment, and this contrast between his past and present highlights the complexities of fame, fortune, and public perception, showing that even the richest athletes can be vulnerable.
He breaks his hand. It turns out that both of his hands were severely injured. They told him, Floyd, you not boxing anymore. He said, nah, I'm finna box. They said, no, you're not hearing me. The problem is you already beat everybody your size. Listen, Floyd had a bigger issue. He needed to start boxing people that were way bigger than him because everybody his size couldn't hang with him. So if his hands were breaking against smaller guys, against bigger guys, he better have no arms. So Mayweather's team said we need to switch things up. This dude, Mayweather's promoter, said switch things. What not? Everything's saying the same, stupid. He said unless y'all got $750K, the exit your contract is done. Mayweather said here. He said what? I don't pay you that much. Mayweather said I've been saving up for this day. He said, oh, okay, big dog, you got it. So they devised a plan. Go from Pretty Boy to Money. See, Pretty Boy loved to throw hands, but Money was a defensive specialist. In fact, he's easily considered as the greatest defensive boxer of all time. But that wasn't the only reason he changed his...
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more and see you next time.